Today's video is going to be about what you need to know about making money online. So a lot of people ask me, especially since they've seen me go from not making money online to now running a completely virtual online business and making the majority of my income from that. People come up to me all the time and say, Noah, how do I get started? How do I do what you do? Or all these things. And so I wanted to make this video so I can just have something to send people when they ask, but also just as a resource. Because there's a lot of mindset work that is behind having success at anything, specifically this making money online game, where, your parents made money from a 9 to 5, your parents made money through manual labor, or, in the old world paradigm, everybody had to have a degree or some kind of a certification. And so for me to come out, or any other person to come out and say, yo, you don't need those things anymore to make, 10 times the amount of money that you would make at a job online, it's kind of hard to believe. So I'm going to go through some of the mindset stuff, some of the steps that you need to take to get from zero to hero. I'm going to add a time in the description where I literally skip to the one slide that's all action steps of exactly what I would do. Everything else is just going to be some background around, characteristics, character traits that are going to make you successful making money online, and then also things to avoid, things to look out for, and then how to pick a business model. Other than that, like I said, I'll just add a time in the description that literally goes straight to that action step slide. So you can just jump straight to that and then, watch that 30 seconds if you don't think you need any context. So let's get into it. This is not a sales pitch for a course, nor is it a marketing ploy to pull the unawakened masses into the world of online money making. This video is for people who have already started pulling on the thread of our new world economy and the flaws of our old world models. Okay. I do not need to convince you that making money online beats the alternative. And trust me, I have no desire, as much as I love everyone that asks me and shows me support and says, yo, you're killing it. How do I do what you do? As much as I love everybody, I have a big heart and I love to give back. And I have, team members and employees now that look at me and say, dude, you give away so much of your time to people that are just like not going to use it properly. And so I'm trying to systematize this and pretty much create an SOP for a beginner where I say, yo, I don't have time to mentor you, but here's a video. Here's how you get started. And so if you're already interested in it, this video is for you around some action steps, how I can demystify the whole thing. And I can give you some clarity on where to begin and how to get started. Right. So like I said, I don't need to convince you that making money online beats the alternative. Pretty much compare making money in a new world way, like, making money with complete control of your time, unlimited earning potential, to the old world way of working a regular job where you need a degree or some kind of a certification. You're judged based off your hourly, right? You get hourly or salary, you're paying 60% money, right? Because you got that earned income tax. You're not getting any deductions of being a business owner. And also you have to ask to take a piss. You got to play office politics. And you got to work next to a gentleman named Gerald who likes to heat up his leftover fish in the communal microwave and just stinks up your office space. So other than that, I think the online money thing sells itself, right? I've noticed that there is a specific archetype that asks me for help. Doesn't matter if they're old, young, male, female, doesn't matter. There's definitely a type of person who is interested in this stuff. So what I found it to be is someone who's consciously culturally defiant. I know, word salad, but pretty much they have niche ideas or areas of interest that trend away from the mainstream consensus, right? This may show up as counterculture worldviews on religion, health, history, politics, etc. Like if you can get into a conspiracy conversation with somebody, I guarantee you they've thought about how to make money online and to like escape the matrix or escape the rat race, right? But is that they have a deep, deep subconscious layer that's more in alignment with the normies than they realize. So they're subconsciously, societally subservient. I don't know why I'm doing word salads today, but I just am. So deal with it. But they have integral parts of their psyche that align with the mainstream agendas / narratives, and they don't really realize it. A lot of these people view themselves as awake and woke out of the matrix, but they don't really realize that the majority of their beliefs are aligned with whatever Al Roker says on the Today Show in the morning. So that is going to take a hit to a lot of people's egos, and you're going to have some kind of humility around accepting that and realizing you need to learn. I know I did. There's a lot of shit I had to learn on this journey, especially around the world. Like my worldview changed. Entrepreneurship is the hero's journey, and it definitely changed my worldview on how I view others and how I just view the world and the landscape we live in general. Okay, so the subconsciously, societally subservient traits that they have could show up as like a need for approval around, oh my gosh, if I don't get a degree, how am I going to survive? If I don't get a stable job, my parents won't respect me, whatever. And let's talk about stable jobs. How many of your parents or people that you look up to that have like that stable job have been laid off before? Like we wouldn't define that as stable, right? And so people have this idea that like entrepreneurship has all this baked in risk, whereas the 9 to 5 is the safe path. It's like, dude, you could get axed at any moment. You're back out on the streets. You got to go find another job. So I don't understand why people view it as like a stable job, maybe because it's a constant paycheck. Whereas entrepreneurship, there's ups and downs. There's some months where you kill it. There's some months where you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, but it's a process. I said the TLDR of this is someone who's like awakened from the matrix in one area while being ignorant in most other areas. So it's like you're red pilled on one thing and you're blue pilled on everything else, but you view yourself as a red pilled person. It's like, nah, you're not actually. So that's a hit to the ego, but we're gonna have to deal with it. Okay, so first things first. You need to have some level of self-awareness around why you want what you want. That way you can get off the hedonic treadmill before you get on in the first place. If you jump into this and think, oh my gosh, all I care about is money, you start to make money, you're going to realize numbers go to infinity and entrepreneurship is the biggest game in the world. And you're playing against people that have, generational wealth. You're playing against people that have, multinational conglomerate companies on the same scale, right? So it's like running around your neighborhood being like, I'm the best basketball player on my street. And then LeBron pulls up. Right. So if you're going to just run off ego, this is not the game for you. Right. It'll get you to a certain place. And yes, you will achieve financial, you will get to the level of financial independence or success or whatever, but you'll feel empty on the inside. Okay. And so I think that there's a slide later where I dispel a lot of limiting beliefs. But one of the big things is a lot of people think it's like, this is damn near impossible. And this is like the 4-minute mile. Right. And that this is like the hardest thing of all time to have control of your finances. But having control of your finances, in my view, is like the first step to a good life. Like once you make the money, you'll realize all the other things that money doesn't fix. Right. Money fixes a ton of shit. I will not lie. Having money is 1,000 times way better than not having money. Right. Because you can just take care of small issues. Right. So like you're not stressed if you get a flat tire. You're not stressed about paying your rent. You're not stressed about paying food, right? But it doesn't just give you, you don't wake up like, oh my gosh, like life is the best it's ever been. Like I'm like, you're extra grateful, I guess, but like, it doesn't stop the fact that like, money doesn't get rid of all the problems in your life. You just get rid of the money problems, right? And so there's a mindset around that. And so a lot of people have like put financial freedom or financial independence on this pedestal where they think that it's like damn near impossible. And it's not. It's just not. And a lot of people get to financial freedom a lot quicker than they think is possible. And then they're like, holy fuck, I didn't expect that. Right. But then they realize it makes them feel empty. Like there have been people I've mentored that we got to 10K a month within like a quarter of working with me, like less than 90 days. And I'm not taking on any students or anything like that. This is just somebody I took in out of the kindness of my own heart. And we got them to 10K a month within 90 days. And they called me crying like, fuck, this didn't make me happy. And it's like, yeah, I told you it wouldn't, but they expected the money to make them happy. So there's a lot of beliefs around once I have the car, once I have the house, once I have the girl, I'll be happy. But this isn't a lecture on philosophy or states of consciousness. This is literally just talking about the money matrix, but so many things are intertwined, right? So not to get all Alan Watts on you, but you've been programmed by the TV / your phone / social media / culture, whatever, for decades, motherfucker, to desire luxury goods, the flashy lifestyle, and the best of the best materially, right? And this is not necessarily a bad thing, but underline this because it's important. But I would be lying if I said to you that all of you will live that lifestyle. Not that all of you can't live that lifestyle, because all of you can. You all have the capability within, right, to figure out how to make money. It's not the hardest thing in the world. I promise you it is not. Okay. So a lot of breaking points that happen in this journey where you realize like, damn, I'm alone and I'm the one that has to figure this out. You know what I mean? Like who's going to carry the boats kind of thing. And people will break. Okay. And so it does take a lot of mental toughness and durability and willingness to learn and iterate. And a lot of people lack that humility to say, fuck, I fucked up. I got to figure this out. A lot of people just want it to work the first time. And I hate to break it to you, but it very rarely does. Okay. And so I'm not promoting scarcity either, as that's something I fervently disagree with. And not that it's too hard either, but this is the big point. Most people have subconscious limiting beliefs around money, and they have ceilings on their self-esteem around what they deem they deserve. Okay. So if I just gave you $100 million today, a lot of you would have a shit ton of guilt. Like, why do I have this money? I didn't do anything for it. You know what I mean? There's family members of mine in the past I've given money to, and they call me like, I didn't do anything to deserve this. And it's like their first thought around money is like, they don't deserve it unless they work, right? And you can start to ask yourself these questions around your limiting beliefs around money is like just ask yourself like why you don't deserve money. And like your limiting beliefs are going to pop up, like you're lazy, you're stupid, whatever. And like just start to address those beliefs, because a lot of money is energetic. It is a very spiritual game, because money is literally just spiritual energy, because it's literally the quantified time and energy of other people. But with that being said, here's the honest truth, the honest to God truth for real. Is that it's not as hard as you think. Okay, so I know you guys are expecting some bad news. No, it's good news. It's not as hard as you think. Okay, so making money online is not rocket science. All business opportunities will require some level of deep work, intense learning periods, and the willingness to iterate or change direction at a moment's notice. But notice how I said deep work, not necessarily hard work. It's not like you're out here, like, what do you deem hard work, right? Like getting a hammer and going and building a house, doing manual labor, walking 20 dogs at one time in a busy area. Like that all seems like hard work. I think typing on your keyboard in like an air conditioned environment isn't that hard, right? So it's more like deep work. Like, can you be focused? Can you eliminate distractions? Can you like work towards a goal constantly with delayed gratification? And do you need to see a result immediately? Are you willing to fail? Like that kind of stuff, like the deep work. And then I put a note in here of character traits needed to win. And these are all in my opinion, right? But humility, like the willingness to learn, tenacity, which is like the willingness to try, or you could just say ballsiness, like how fucking ballsy are you? Do you got gumption? Are you going to put some skin on the table, boy? Right? Are you going to try? Are you going to invest your time and say, fuck it? Right? And then endurance, meaning your work ethic and your ability to delay gratification, right? And then mindset. So just pretty much, I've seen people win with dog shit mindsets around scarcity. I've seen people win with dog shit mindsets around self-worth. Pretty much the only notion is just don't be a Debbie Downer. Like, don't be the one person that's like, oh, that could never work. That's a scam. Like, that's a broke ass mindset. Like, I don't care if you hate yourself, you can make money. But if you think everything's a scam and there's no possible way that you can win, you're going to be broke. Hate to break it to you. So either choose to just be broke for eternity or flip the script and try to do some identity work and fix that, right? And so I created like a little formula here. I'm proud of myself for this. To get some kind of a math prize, because this is a genius formula. It's like the sum of humility multiplied by tenacity plus endurance divided by your mindset. Okay. So the reason I said divided by mindset is if you have a dog shit mindset, it's like the number goes up in the formula. So like, for example, say like you're a super Debbie Downer. You could have all the humility in the world. Like you could be willing to learn, you could be willing to try, you could have the best work ethic in the world. But if you're like a Debbie Downer, your mindset's going to be like a 4, right? And so it's like you put 100 on the scale, divided by 4, you got 25. Whereas the person who has like the dopest mindset of all time, they're like less than 1, right? So if I put 100 on the top and I divide it by 0.5, those people got 200, right? They're beating you in the score. So it's like, the big ticket items, the reason I bring up subconscious work and identity work so much, and so much of what I talk about on this channel is just around your mindset and around fixing your brain and fixing how you view the world, is because this shit is really important. I mean, we all know people who are like kind of stupid, but are like willing to go jump and try. But we also know people who are like super smart, but they're way too logical for their own good, right? It's like, why are so many scientists broke? It's because they're like so fucking like logical, right? It's like they can't possibly ponder this outcome. Right? Like I listened to a Ty Lopez video the other day where he said he was talking to some kind of a scientist who said they ran all the numbers and that it's like statistically impossible to become rich. And he's like, in the same token, you got a bunch of people with 80 IQs that just YOLO it and make a couple $1,000,000. So it's like, it's up to you who you want to be. And that's why I always bring it back to identity work. Like whoever you want to be, just show up as that person, right? How would that person move? Here's 3 reasons why you could fail. Potentially you could fail. Right? And by fail, that doesn't mean you're fucked, you're broke forever. That means you just fail in this one business opportunity and you have the ability to try again. Right? And school has fucked everybody's mindset around failure because they think like, I get one test and if I fail it, I'm fucked. Whereas in real life, if you go ask any entrepreneur, they're like talking about how they've been bankrupt a bunch of times or they've tried a bunch of shit and it didn't work out. Or like even as small, like as macro as a bankruptcy or as micro as like trying a marketing campaign, spending money, it didn't work. Right? Or hiring somebody and firing somebody. Like little tiny iterations of being willing to fail, like that's what makes you successful. Like you're constantly turning the knob on the lock and trying to like jimmy it free, right? So just be willing to take a couple turns. Whereas a lot of people just want to go right to that number. It doesn't really work like that, right? You don't just like click and you're immediately there. But the 3 reasons why you could fail, this is from Tate. I heard like a Tate video where he talked about this and I thought this was fucking super insightful. Whatever your opinions on Tate are, where he said, like you're lazy, meaning like you're not willing to try. You're stupid, pretty much like you're not willing to work or learn. And then arrogant, like you're expecting fruit without planting roots. Arrogance is the number one thing I've seen. So I have had, I want to say almost 100 people, right? Like I've had almost 100 people come to me and say, yo, I want to learn. And I've taught, I don't know, I want to say 15 or 20 people how to wholesale. And I'm not adding anybody, right? But the number one common thing I saw was arrogance, where people were just like, man, I made 5 calls. I should get a deal. What's going on? Right? And then they start to look at me like they either like resent your success, they're jealous, or they just start to think it's fake because they're like, why am I not getting the same result? But people don't realize that, dude, it took me 6 months of calling for 8 hours a day to get my first deal. Right? And so people will call 5 times a day for a week and then call me and bitch and complain. And that arrogance immediately turns me, like the mentor, off. and says, yo, this person has a dog shit mindset. But because you have to do all this identity work to get yourself into an abundance mindset, you don't want to be the guy that calls them and says, yo, I don't think you have what it takes. But in that moment, when people are showing you their true selves, you're like, bro, you're a quitter. Like, you don't have what it takes. Like, you're not willing to put in the work. You're arrogant. But you can't say that to an arrogant person, because if you say that to an arrogant person, you've put a target on your back, and now you're enemy number one. And it's like, I don't need that drama, bro. I came to help you, So it's like, there's layers to this shit for real. And like I said, the impact of limiting beliefs cannot be understated at all. Like, if your mindset is like coming into this, if your mindset is already that of, I don't have enough time, I don't know anyone who does this, everything I see online is a scam, all successful people got lucky, please save yourself, myself, any other mentor you could possibly get, save yourself the fucking time and just quit now. Just quit now. Because those mindsets are toxic as fuck, and all you're going to do is go talk to a successful person who's winning and then try to convince them why their winning is illogical. And they're going to look at you like, bro, I put in the work, shut the fuck up. Like, and people are going to get mad and be like, bro, leave me alone. Because if you come at people who have a positive mindset, this is the thing about people with shitty mindsets, is they don't realize that people with good mindsets don't want to be around them, because it's contagious, right? Like, if you've ever been around a family member of yours who like just complains, and you're like, damn, being around them is really draining. That's how people who are like super abundant around opportunity, like money, mindset, all these things, that's how people view the people who come in and go, bro, this is all a scam. There's no way this works. I just don't have enough time, man. I'm just so overloaded at my job. Like, that's how people view, where they're like, okay, like, you're just telling me reasons why you can't be successful. Like, cool, just be okay with not being successful. Like, that's fine. But then they're like, but I want it so bad. And it's like, no, you don't. But a lot of people don't have the heart to say, yo, you have a dog shit mindset. Over time, I've spent a lot of time within the past 2 years cultivating my mindset. And so when people point out limiting beliefs and they ask me, yo, what do I need to work on? I'm immediately like, I'm more than happy to unload the clip on them and just be like, dude, your mindset is dog shit here, 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 and here. But it takes a certain kind of person to be willing to take that feedback. Some people will come back at me and be like, you this or you that. And they immediately like lash out. And then they're like, sorry, bro, I shouldn't. And I'm just like, you're good. I was just trying to help. Whereas other people will be like, dude, I didn't see that blind side. Thank you. Right. And the people who say, damn, I didn't see that blind side, I appreciate it, I'm gonna go work on it and come back to you and say, yo, I worked on that, I feel way better now. Those are the winners. Those are the people that actually make shit happen. Okay. So 3 reasons why you could fail: lazy, stupid, arrogant. Don't be those 3. Come on. Just do the opposite. Okay. So a huge question I get all the time is, which business model should I do? And what I've noticed is people will come to me, because I wholesale, right? People will come to me and go, no, I've always wanted to wholesale. I'm so interested in wholesale, right? And they'll go to my friends that drop ship and they'll go, I've always wanted to drop ship, bro. You got to teach me. And then they'll go to the guy they'll go to the person who's like a successful salesperson, or they're in insurance or something like that, right? And like, I've always wanted to do insurance. I've always wanted to sell. I've always been so interested in sales. And they don't realize that people pick up on that and they're like, bro, you're literally just trying to leech. Like, and you have no direction, right? And which is okay. But the way you should come at somebody who is doing well is you should say, yo, what does your life look like, right? Like, judge the opportunity based off of like, what's their life look like and what's their end goal, right? So if I said, yo, I'm gonna give you a free vacation to the Bahamas, but you have to take a raft there made out of paper straws, you'd be like, I think I'll pass. Whereas if I just was like, yo, vacation to the Bahamas, you'd be like, bet, sign me up. To read the fucking fine print on these things, okay? So another thing you need to judge an opportunity based on is your personality, right? Like, I'm not going to recommend a socially awkward, shy person to go throw themselves into like an in-person or in-home sales role, right? Nor would I tell a super outgoing person who should be in sales, who's like filled with energy through socialization, like your typical extrovert, to go start drop shipping or doing some kind of a systemization thing on the back end and like sitting in front of a computer all day, having zero interaction with humans, right? So figure out your personality, right? Like, do you define yourself as somebody who's shy and quiet? Do you like being around people or not? Do you want to make money like online, in person, a blend? Like, dude, there's a million fucking ways to make money out here, right? You need to let go of your limiting beliefs around what's possible, because there's people out here that sell shampoo on Facebook and make millions of dollars a year that are like Facebook moms. Like, you're telling me you can't figure it out? Like, they ask you how to plug in the Wi-Fi and like they make millions on Facebook. You think you can't figure out how to fucking use your computer, use your phone and some Wi-Fi to figure this shit out? Like, come on. Also, income potential. So a lot of people will sell like, yo, you'll make 100K within your first 3 years. Like, I came into this game wanting something big, right? But I was also 18 when I figured out what wholesale was. I was 18, like when I started learning about it. And just the idea of making 10K a month online was huge, right? Whereas now if somebody comes to me and goes, yo, Noah, let's start this business together, we can make 10K a month. I'm like, I'm not that interested, right? I'm interested in way bigger opportunities. Yo, you want to talk about making millions? You want to talk about making 10 million bucks? You want to talk about making 100 million bucks on like a company, some kind of a brand, something you can exit? I'm here. But if you want to come to me and bring me another 20K a month, I'm good. Right? And that may sound arrogant to somebody who's like new to this, but what I'm saying is you will level up in your standards over time. And that's normal. So when you are looking at an opportunity, judge it based off of the lifestyle. What does the person's day-to-day life look like? I didn't really touch on that, right? But somebody could say, yo, I'm gonna like a very common one I've seen for like men, a lot of dudes that come to me and go, yo, I want to do this, right? Is I say, what are you doing currently? I'm going to school for what? To be an investment banker. Okay. Have you talked to any investment bankers about what their life looks like? Right. And when they're freshmen and sophomores, they're so lit because they think it's Wolf of Wall Street. And then when they finally intern at that big company, they come back and they're like, dude, it's 18 hours a day of like Excel spreadsheets. Like, I hate it. This isn't what I want. And I'm like, you could have saved yourself 2 years and 30 grand a fucking year of student loans if you would have just asked them, yo, what does your day look like? But people don't think like that. They just think, damn, what's my LinkedIn going to look like? If you care about your LinkedIn to people, fuck that. Like, there's a kid named Oliver on like Money Twitter that always talks like he sells like sex chocolate or some shit, and he made like 10 million bucks. And he's like, I think it's so funny people are worried about like what my LinkedIn says when people come up to me and I'm a multimillionaire in my 20s and I say I sell sex chocolate on the internet. And it's like, you got to get rid of your like, I'm an attorney, I'm so important because of my title. Dude, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay. Next up, network is everything. So strangers will make you rich. Your friends will tell you everything's a scam. Where if you say, oh, okay, like when I started real estate, people were like, dude, that's a scam. There's no way you can get into real estate investing with no money and figure out how to get deals, right? And then the moment I ran into a fix and flipper who was flipping deals, and I'm like, yo, dude, I want to get into wholesale. They're like, fuck yeah, send me deals, dude. That's lit. Like, I love buying deals off wholesalers. And you're like, the dude who's doing it is encouraging me. Whereas everybody else who's never tried anything in their life is shitting on it. Crazy. My business partner, I did not know 2 years ago. Right? The people that work for me now and make 10K a month didn't know me more than a year ago. Okay. So it's like, but they knew their friends. You know, my business partner knew his friends, right? My employees knew their people, right? But none of their people were making them money. They were keeping them the same as everybody else. So strangers will make you rich. And your network is everything. So as promised, here's the little step-by-step guide that I have where when people come to me and say, yo, no, how do I get started with this thing? How do I get started with this thing? And I'm like, yo, look on YouTube. People will literally ask me to send them videos on wholesale. Like, you don't realize how fucking infuriating that is when you come up to somebody who is running a business, who has a bunch of fires going on at one time. There's a bunch of fires they need to put out at any given time. And you're texting them, yo, what video should I watch? It's like, bro, go to YouTube. Number one, if you are lost and need a place to start, number one, go to YouTube. Type in how to make money online, okay? And then sift through videos on various topics until one niche sparks your interest, right? And then take that niche, right? Go back to the YouTube search bar and type in how to get started, for example, drop shipping, right? If that's what you find, or Amazon FBA, or wholesaling, or high ticket sales, or starting a company, right? There's a million different ways, okay? And then number 4 would be find 1 or 2 influencers that you resonate with that speak on the topic, and then go through all of their content, right? Don't try to jump around to a bunch of different people. Watch one influencer and just watch all their content. These people are literally giving you the game for free in exchange for your attention, right? Because they're hoping to monetize you with a course, monetize you by joining a paid community or something like that. Or they just want clout. They want to get their clout up on the gram, right? Number 5, just take notes, learn, soak up knowledge, okay? Just like intentionally watch. Don't just mentally masturbate. Intentionally watch, take notes, learn, soak up knowledge, right? Talk about it. And then number 6 would be start to network. Dude, there's free Facebook groups, right? Free Discords. There's paid communities that you can join. There's local meetups you can go to. Like when I got started in real estate, people were like, go to a RIA meeting. I was like, that's so lame. I don't want to go there. The first RIA meeting I went to, I met a dude who does exactly what I do that made more than $1 million a month in my like hyper local market. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't realize people like you exist. And then you start talking to them. It's because they're not on the internet. They're 45 years old. They don't live on the internet. And you're like, damn, right? So get around people who are doing what you want to do, okay? Number 7, ask those people questions. Don't be annoying and ask them every little question. Use Google, but if you're taking action and you come up on a step that you can't get over, ask the question, right? People want to help. Take action and then avoid analysis paralysis. A lot of people will learn. And before they take action, they'll go, there's more I need to learn. There's more I need to learn. Like, there's never going to be a perfect time. So just pick. Just say, yo, I'm going to jump in 30 days and jump in. You're never going to feel like you know enough, though, right? It took me 3 months longer to get started wholesaling than it should have, because I just was like, oh, I need to watch another video today. Like, I'm like, on Monday, I'm going to start calling. And then instead of calling, I'm like, I don't actually know how to handle this one objection. So I'd spend all day up until lunch watching the video on this one objection. And then I'd be like, okay, after lunch, and then I'd eat lunch, get that dopamine spike, be kind of tired and be like, well, actually, I don't know how to handle this objection either. And then you go watch another one. And then by the time you realize it, you've gone 9 to 5 watching YouTube. And it's like, you feel so good about yourself. It's mental masturbation. Okay, then number 8, learn through doing. Fail, mess up, try again. This is kind of giving me deja vu because I'm remembering young Noah and how this may seem super high level. To me, these videos, this is what I needed. Like, if young Noah had this, I could have saved so much time and made so much money quicker. Okay. But a lot of people aren't, they're looking at gift horse in the mouth. Okay. So like, this may seem super basic and simple, but literally, trust me, this is all you need. Okay. Learn through doing, fail, mess up, try again. The game of entrepreneurship is failing. Okay. Get busy failing, take action. I heard somebody say the most expensive piece of real estate is cemeteries, because how many people have like $1 billion ideas they took to their grave because they're afraid to take action. Right. Excuse me. And there's this idea, there's two communities. There's one that's like, you have all the time in the world. Don't get your shit together till you're 40, figure it out. Right. And there's another community that's like, if you're not making $1 million a month by the time you're 25, you're worthless. Right. And you kind of need a bit of both. One's going to spark you into action and the other one's going to allow you to live in the moment, enjoy your life. But don't get caught up on either side. Being too far on the extremes isn't necessarily a great thing. And then number 9 is just, after you just learn through doing, try, it's inevitable you'll win. So win once, get your proof of concept, and then boom, do it 1 million more times. If you can make $1 online, you can make 100 million online. Like, just scale. Okay. And then just as a side note here, learning how to teach yourself, right, is the highest income skill you'll ever have. Go ask the people you know that make money online and say, how'd you learn? They're going to say course, community, or YouTube University, right? There was nobody sitting there saying, yo, do this exact thing. There's no like teacher beating them down. They had to watch a video, try it, and then have somebody to go ask questions to, or peers. Like, you need somebody who's above you that you can ask questions to, that they look at that question as like so normal, or you need a peer that you can go to and say, how do I handle this? And they go, I've dealt with this, or I know who has the answer. That's why it goes back to network. Strangers will make you rich, right? And if your friends are into it, do it with your friends. It doesn't matter. I'm not coming on here to just say I'm the best in the world and I figured this out. What I'm saying is, if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. Man, it's not that hard. Okay. So God bless you guys. Keep your word to yourself. If you want to try something, try it. Go into this with a curious mindset. Okay. Anytime you get super anxious, just turn it into curiosity. Right? So if you feel this anxious energy about, oh, bro, he's saying I can do it, but I don't know what to do, blah, blah, just turn it into curiosity. What can I do? What should I do? Like, there is no should. There is no should. So it's like, instead of saying, what should I do? Oh my gosh, I don't know what I want to do. Say, what can I do? You know, where should I go? What business model should I do? What business model can I do? Right? Like, open up the possibilities. Get out of anxiety. Get out of fear. Get into these higher vibrational states. Be grateful you have this opportunity. Be grateful you don't have to be a mailman. Be grateful you're not being shipped off to Vietnam at 18. Like, telling you can make millions of dollars a month on your fucking MacBook if you try. If you just watch some YouTube videos and try for a couple of years. Like, and people are still like, they're going to find some reason to be like, it's too hard.